Hey, friend. Welcome to the Inimitable podcast. I'm your host, Jermaine Harrison. I'm a licensed mental health counselor, mentor, visionary, transitional life coach, and of course, I am a neurospicy black sheep. Inimitable means something that is so unique, it is impossible to duplicate. This pod is for the neurospicy who are building mental wealth without a blueprint. Thank you for coming, and if you're here, it's because God needed you here. I hope you enjoy this episode, and I'll see you soon. Hey, y'all. Listen, that intro, that took me like forever to get through. I was like, no, I got to make it like 30 seconds. But nonetheless, everybody, welcome, whether you are watching this live or on a rebroadcast. I am so excited to start this podcast, the Inimitable podcast, with this handsome little brown skin face right there. That's my brother, Cedric Thompson. Ceddy, say hello to the world.
Hello, world. How we doing? What's going on?
I am so happy you decided to say yes. And I was just like, who better to kick this thing off than my baby bro? You see that smile? He's so handsome. I'm going to keep it professional, though. Anyway. So we are here to talk about Black Boy Joy because, you know, we were talking before this, and I feel like there's a conversation that has to be had. Not just because you are a Black man, not just because of what happened recently with the election, but because this conversation doesn't happen enough. And if it does happen, it only happens in a sense of women are talking about Black men, or Black men are talking to Black men about it. But like this conversation between female male, it rarely happens. So I wanted to make sure I came on, got you on, and we can talk about Black Boy Joy. So let's start it off. In your opinion, in your words, Black Boy Joy, what is it?
Black Boy Joy is just embodying who you are as an individual, down to your features, down to your characteristics, what you like to do on a day-to-day basis, just going out and just existing as is. That's what I think Black Boy Joy is, and just relishing in the moment type of thing, relishing who you are, again, as an individual, how people attracts to you, what they find unique about you, and just taking that head on, just relishing and embracing who you are. That's Black Boy Joy to me.
Yeah, I agree. I think so. When we were talking about this earlier, you had mentioned that there's a clear distinction between how boys are raised and how girls are raised. I mentioned girls, we are allowed to be sloppy and messy to a point, because obviously we have to be ladylike, right? But we get to be emotional, we get to be whatever. But then there's a man, and that message is not given to him. That boy is not raised to be like, it's okay to emote, it's okay to have failures and to not have it together. So what was your experience, Cedric, like growing up as a Black boy?
I had a fair childhood as far as being an actual child. I do remember or have some recollection of me enjoying my childhood as far as going out to the park, having, doing bad boy stuff, lighting things on fire, kicking sand in people's faces, all that stuff. But outside of that, in home, I don't have the best relationship with my mom, so there's a lot of yelling, verbal abuse in the house, physical abuse in the house, being told to, dry your tears when I cry, I'll give you something to cry about. A lot of those type catchphrases where I'm not allowed to show any type of emotion. So it's one of those where if you get hurt, get up, wipe them tears away. You got cut, so what? Happens to everybody. Keep it going. So there's a lot of growing up quickly in the house as far as I go. Yeah, there's a lot of that.
And that's crazy. I'm sorry that you had to go through that. I also fully understand what you're saying because, I'm the younger of on my mom's side. My mom had an older son, may he rest in peace. And so my brother, I feel like, I don't think there was just as much of that cry or I'll give you something to cry about type thing. But I definitely seen the difference between how I was catered to as I was I'm still emotional, but a very emotional person. And then how my brother was and how men are kind of conditioned to just kind of like suck it up and be like, no. But then when they're burning things and kicking sand in people's faces and acting a fool, they're like, what are you doing? It's like, well, did you give them a chance not to do it?
Right.
like, I mean, I'm not a mom yet, but I got a whole lot of nieces and nephews. You gave me one. Hey, girl. You gave me a niece, and I have a whole lot of slew of godkids and stuff like that. And it's just like, I'm hoping that conversations like this can help parents around the world, future parents around the world, or just current parents who need to do it better to address this differently, because this is hard, right? Like, it's hard to raise a Black boy, especially in America, and to do it right. Absolutely. So, like, what was missing? What did you need as a Black boy to, like, do life differently, to feel better about it?
Just protection and love. That's really what I like. When I tell you, there's literally, I'll even say up to this point, there's not much people I can run to feel safe, somewhere I can just be vulnerable, somewhere where I can be not myself for a moment. You know what I mean? I spent a lot of my time, spent a lot of my life weighing the world on my shoulders and almost like blaming myself for it, because I am my toughest critic. And I think that comes a lot from trauma and being told that I'm not valuable to the world or not valuable at all. So if I just had a protection or like a safety blanket where I can just let go, take a long breath, and even cry, you know what I mean? As far as crying for a couple minutes, you know what I mean? I think that would be that would have been helpful. That would have probably changed some of the trajectory of how my life went. And yeah.
Can I say that was such a good answer, sir? Protection. We underestimate what that means. Excuse me, and what that does. I think, again, as female, we know what protection looks like for her. Make sure she's good. Make sure emotionally she's kept. Make sure physically she got it together. But when it comes to a man, I don't know if this conversation is happening at all. How do we, as a community, protect the Black men? And I like the fact that you said, like, needing a space to cry, needing a space to emote, needing a safe space to be like, if I say this here, it stays here. And it doesn't emasculate me somewhere down the road when we get into an argument. It's like, well, at least that's not why. Because we get it. We can be petty. On behalf of women, I understand we can be petty, right? And we don't think enough about how to protect our men. And if we don't have these conversations and we don't ask these questions, we won't know how to. And I agree. We as women have to do better. But how can a man create that space for another man? How do we do it?
Honestly, you do have like close friends amongst men that, because pretty much we all share the same story one way or another. Yep. Some people worse than others, but we kind of all walk the same plank, if you will. We all struggle with having love at home or not having love at home because the parents are absent, working, or when one thing after another. So we try to find validation, if you will, elsewhere. And normally it's with other Black men who suffers from the same thing or it's going through the same thing. So we kind of create a safe haven for ourselves, whether it be hanging out at the park or going for a drive or going to the bar, and just probably not think about it and talk about it. We just embrace, the momentary good things that we have. currently going on in the moment. So we do small, not like a total it takes a village type of thing, but we do small gestures and small things to help each other take our mind off of whatever the struggle we're going through.
Yeah. Yeah. And to understand something that you said, I think the important part about having community in my eyes is that, like, if we're all pillars and no matter how broken we are, if we all band together, something can still stand, right? So I feel like when you have someone who's strong enough and you're like, I don't have it today. Today, I don't know. Work was crazy. I don't know what's going on with my kid. I don't know what's going on with this. And to be able to, as a man, say, like, I need a moment to be weak or have a moment to not have an answer. Like, and not be emasculated for that is huge. And so I'm hoping that, again, in this conversation, that men are learning how to support each other and embrace each other. Because I think back in the day, it was like I'm going to embrace you, but no homo. Like, why is that even like men can embrace men.
Right.
Like, I don't think it's weird for like a man to give another man a hug. I mean, I'm female, so
yeah, that's like an ego thing. I don't know. There's like so many stipulations that we abide by and fall under, believe stupidly, might I add, that it's kind of ridiculous. But hey, that's like a societal conditioning, I guess.
yes.
We're not allowed to be vulnerable amongst each other. We're not allowed to hug each other. That's like a societal thing.
Yeah. Because listen, I don't care what gender you are. If I need a hug me, I don't care where you come from. If I need a hug me. I need to be embraced. I've learned that my love language is physical touch. And so it's like sometimes for me to be grounded, it's like I need a hug.
Absolutely.
like so I can release something, right? So I was thinking about your journey from childhood. And again, I'm a brag. You're my brother. I can do that. When you see Cedric, you see an outstanding young man. I mean, he does what he does and he lives life how he wants to live it. But what you can't say about my brother is that he is not an outstanding young Black man. So how did you get there? Did you have role models that helped? Did you have people in your life that kind of held you down and was like, Seti, I got you?
To be quite honest, I pretty much learned. I had to bump my head quite a few times before. I mean, I'm still bumping my head now, but even from a childhood, even after my eye accident, I've always had like a deep perspective on life as is. But to really be that genuine person that I am today, I had to bump my head a couple of times. I had to actually go out and learn how to talk to people, go out and learn how to behave in public settings and things of that nature. Good thing I've always kept good company around me. Shout out to my cousin Marquise. Marquise Innocent, if you're out there, you're. I've always kept him around me. He's literally like a brother to me. I will always be under his wing. Just he would be like an example for me mostly, and I appreciate it. You know what I mean? I could have just so many times I could have went off the rail doing something I shouldn't be doing, but um, thankful to me, I've always had a good head on my shoulders. I knew right from wrong and knew not to go along with the crowd. So yeah.
That's good. That's good.
Sure.
I'm glad you had somebody
Mhm.
because, again, my baby bro, love you. I know as a sister, I wasn't always around, but that's a different story. Or we can get into it.
Yeah.
We got time. When it comes to family stuff and the complications that happen in Black homes, like, again, me and Cedric were having a conversation before we went live and really thinking about how the Black family is really split these days. Like, if I, as a Black female, hate a Black man, society wins, right? Because then we're not formulating a strong Black family. And when you have, children with different parents, like one, they share this, like we have the same father. And if I don't have a relationship with my dad and he doesn't have a relationship with our father,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to see him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't even think Cedric, I don't even know if you existed until you were about 7. I was like, he's like, oh yeah, you have a little brother. And I was like, oh.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I knew about the sister. I was like, I have a brother?
Right.
Oh, that's dope. I didn't know Xavier existed until he was 16.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, if you want to dig into it, brother, we can dig into it. It's just like, how do we do better? Like, as a community, how do we do this better? Because love you, but I didn't even know you existed.
Yeah, that's so tough. That's so tough to say. Men just got to do a better job of just honing or harping on the responsibility at hand. Like, take your personal feelings out of it. Once the baby gets here, whether no matter what the situation was, you just got to own up to the responsibility. Hold up your side of the bargain and do what you will with it, man. If you have multiple children, it's your responsibility, in a sense, to keep them all together in some way, shape, or form. No matter if it's long distance, everybody has telephones, everybody has the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Come up with like, okay, let's meet once a month and have dinner, or have like a weekend retreat where the family gets together, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Just again, honing on a responsibility at hand and doing the best that you can to keep everybody together. I feel like there's not much effort, clearly, not much effort being shown or exhibited to keep the family together and someone on the same page.
Yeah. And this is a part of, like, although it's called Black Boy Joy,
Mm-hmm.
it's hard to find joy when, as you said, you came from a not so loving and embracing family, right?
Mm-hmm.
Our father didn't keep us together, so we don't have a relationship. I know you have a relationship with Xavier because y'all are literally brothers, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if the adults in the situation don't do better to mend it and keep it together, it's going to be hard. It's going to be one of those things where I might resent you, or I might resent our father. And it's like, I see you on social media. I see Xavier on social media. I see Monique on social media. But it's like, did we have a working relationship? No. And it took us as adults to be like, all right,
Right.
you're my sibling. Like, we have to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a part of the joy that we have to get back to, is regardless of who dropped us when we were younger, regardless of how many people failed, that's the unfortunate part about Black families and family trauma, is that somebody got to pick it up and somebody got to do something better with it. If
Mm-hmm.
not, generation after generation after generation, it just continues.
Absolutely.
Right. And you're a dad now. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, how'd you do it? If you didn't have the example at home, how is Cedric a dad, and what is he doing?
Again, it took a lot of bumping my head and learning in real time, literally learning in real time, um, learning how to love properly, learning how to, be more responsible with your time, learning certain sacrifices. Once you have a child, I'm not going to say life completely stops for you, but it takes a little hiatus. So you have to be mature to understand that. And it took me a while to understand it. Like, I'm not going to be able to go out every weekend and do what I normally want to do. So that has to be cut in half. You know what I mean? I'm going to have to work more. I'm going to have to take more of a responsibility of being a grown man to take care of another human being. So everything was learned in real time, even up to this point. It's a beautiful journey, nonetheless. I wouldn't take it for granted. And we still here, we still striving. Hey, Ray. Oh,
My niecey baby.
come here.
She looks just like you. Like, whoa.
Come here.
Oh, that's my niecey.
We on live. Say hi, world.
Hi.
Hey, niece.
Hi, beautiful people.
How does it feel for me being your dad?
Good.
What do I do special for you? Anything? Or name three special things about dad.
You give me stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You're nice.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, can I list more things?
Go for it.
You're respectful.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
You did great. That was 3 amazing things.
Got any more? Or you all set?
You spoil me.
I spoil you?
Yes.
Period. Okay, girl dad.
Alrighty.
Snaps for the girl dad. Snap for the girl dad.
Snap. Okay,
Thanks, Niecy.
Thank you. What's that? Don't be shy.
She's like, what do we do now? Yeah, that's amazing. Like when you are able to take something you don't know to do and you figure it out and you stick with it. I love that you stuck with it. Like even when it didn't make sense, even when you're like, I don't know what to do. And no matter how many times you had to like sacrifice your time and sacrifice other things, you stepped up to the plate.
Absolutely.
And that's huge because a lot of men don't do that. And we're not just going to talk about it like women don't, because there's some deadbeat moms out there. It is. It's a thing. But like as a man, it's huge that you are able to step up to the plate and say like, I created her. So whether I got to hustle to make it do or, you know, me and the mom, we got a great relationship and we can co-parent and do it the right way. I'm glad because this is how generational curses, if you will, they get broken.
Absolutely.
Because you stepped up and said, I'm a own it. Right?
Absolutely.
So obviously, a fighting chance is a mental health counseling business. Mental health. Do you know it? Do you have it? Do you know people with it?
Yeah, I think we're all suffering from a mental health problem one way or another. As for me, I'm still doing my due diligence with healing with my own trauma. Again, if you was to ask me like pick out three special events from your childhood, I probably couldn't tell it to you because I don't remember half of my childhood due to events happening throughout life. You know, I had an eye accident, still trying to recover from that. I was at the ripe age of 9, 10 years old going through that, so you can only imagine as a child going through an eye surgery, being half blind out of one of his eyes. So not even being able to properly assess and process that and still having to be a child going to school every day, doing everyday things, trying to still do things as a child, trying to be active all while, suffering through certain events on top of still, again, as I spoke to before, being verbally abused at home, physically abused at home. It's a lot of stuff to digest, and you can't properly digest it because you're still a kid. Life just goes on, and then bits and pieces start to come back as you get older. Just like, wow, that actually happened when I was 8. I totally forgot about that. So it's just it's a real thing. As long as you can first acknowledge that you have some sort of a problem, and just do your due diligence of healing, whether that be therapy, whether doing a meditation session every morning or going out for a walk for an hour, whatever that healing looks like to you, please do your due diligence each and every day to do so.
Yeah. So as you guys see, if you are active in the comments, it'll pop up on the screen. So Charlene, hey Charlene, Dad is on. There's other people who are on. Say hello. Y'all don't be scared to say hello. We are here. We're family.
Love.
So Darren is the best friend I told you about. He says for absentee fathers, it becomes increasingly difficult to show up for a child or children you failed. The work required to show your children that you want to repent and be a part of their lives now is heavily one-sided, and understandably so in a lot of cases. Very well said, sir. Very poetic. And I agree. I think the hard part, like we said before, is like you have to show up. And if you don't show up, the cycle continues.
A lot of
But
questions
it's like,
being asked, and a lot of things happening in the mind.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, friend. Trauma and shame. Now, can we talk about that? Can we talk about it? Shame and guilt. As a clinician, I tell people all the time, shame and guilt. Shame is the jail cell. Guilt is the key, right? We get
Oh,
stuck.
wait. Say that again. That was a goodie. Hold on.
Which one did I say? Guilt was the jail cell and shame was the key, or did I say it in reverse?
Yeah,
Either way.
Yeah, either way.
Shame is a yep. Either way.
Mm-hmm.
When we want to escape some things, when we want to walk away, when we want to be freed of a thing, sometimes that shame and guilt is what keeps us there, right? Like, oh, I wish I did better, or oh, I failed and I don't know how to overcome this thing. And so when we try to move on, when we try to continue life, when we try to develop healthy relationships, when we try to do life better, and it just feels like something ain't right. Something like I'm doing a little something here, but I'm not feeling fulfilled, or I'm not feeling completely free. And I ask people all the time, like, are you feeling a little guilty, a little bit of shame? And they're like, oh, yeah. Like,
Yeah.
didn't think about it.
Right, exactly.
Brother, are we feeling a little guilt and shame about anything from our past? Are we still overcoming it?
Shame or guilt? No. I don't feel ashamed about anything that I've done or happened to me in life, or guilty. Yeah, that's hard for me to say, to feel shameful. I guess I'm still in a state of surprise, if you will. Because again, I still have like, I just remembered something like a traumatic event when I was younger. I remember that probably when I was around like 6, between the ages, I'll say 5 to 7. I recently remembered that I was taking a bath, and in the midst of me taking a bath, I was trying to like swim underneath water. Being a kid, now we pretend to be scuba divers or whatever the case is, and my mom tried to drown me.
Jeez.
To the point where I came up, shaking my face, like, and I looked at her face, and she had a smirk on her face, almost like she was laughing. And for some reason, that recently popped up, like almost like a week and a half ago. I'm like, that's crazy how I forgot about it. Like, it was, I couldn't even recollect it. Before I remembered it, it was completely erased from my mind. I'm not sure what triggered it, but I was just laying back one day, and it just hit me like, whoa, that actually happened. And there's no escape. Like, I'm completely taken aback, completely surprised. Like, these things actually happen. So that results back to the mental health thing. Like, there's so many events that happen when you're young, at your ripe age, that you can't process or even fathom, that it would just, something would trigger it out of nowhere. And it's like, why did that happen to me when I was a child? What would provoke somebody that's supposed to love you, provoke that? What about me triggered that? So again, that doesn't go back to not shame and guilt, but taken aback and surprise. I would say the best adjectives for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Auntie Gail says she's proud of you.
Auntie Gail,
the connection.
Yeah.
Yeah, brother. First of all, thank you for sharing that. And I know it takes a lot to be this transparent and to be this vulnerable. I mean, I know it's just us, but there's people watching. I appreciate that. But this is a kind of conversation that doesn't happen often, unless you're in a hospital bed or you're in a therapist's office. But to be honest, most of America will never step into an office with a therapist. Most of America will never say, like, I am so broken and so traumatized and so confused and lost that I need a professional to kind of like guide me back to the light or guide me to wherever. And it's in conversations like this where people can see like life happens to all of us.
Yep.
And unfortunately, whether it's because you don't have the language, because what Black kid has language of, I am traumatized by the fact that my own mother is trying to drown me and has a smile on her face. Or I'm out here trying to live life, but I don't understand what love from a parent looks like. In my life, it doesn't exist right now.
Yeah.
And so then you continue in these cycles and you find yourself connected to people who are not that great. You find yourself in situations that are not that great. And then you have people on the outside looking in like, what are you doing? Why are you acting this way? And why are you? It's like, first of all, don't judge me on something you don't know about.
Yep.
Right? Like, what do you expect me to do?
Seriously. People be so surprised. It's like, you're not there to alleviate any of the stresses and you're not providing a helping hand. So you think somebody who has built up frustration from not only inside the house, but the outside world, you think that person not going to act out in some form? Not everybody has it together or has the mental fortitude or endurance to keep it together and see what for what. Some people wear their emotions on their sleeve. Some people, again, don't have the mental fortitude and they'll lash out. Some people have temper problems. Some people have, just quick little triggers that'll make them go off at any given second. So for people to quickly judge and not see the story behind it has always been mind-boggling to me.
I don't understand, and this is me as a clinician, I still don't understand it. I don't understand how people who go through life and experience things can really point a finger at another person and be like, well, they're this and they're that. It's like, don't give people labels. Right. Because 20% of the time you don't want to label on yourself. And yet we go around judging people because of the decisions they make, because of the clothes that they wear, because of the people they're connected to. And something that people ask me all the time is, how do you do it? How do you sit with people as a therapist in a room? And I was like, I remember their humanity first. I'm not focused on creating a diagnosis. I'm not focused on what the story is. It's like, you as a heart, as a mind, as a soul that has a body, I want to get to know you as a person.
Yes.
And then we can dive into all the other things. Is it heavy sometimes? Oh, yeah.
Oh, of course.
For sure. But luckily, I don't do this alone. I'd be like, God, you take this because it's an assembly line over here. It's like, okay, place it on me. And I'm like, God, that's you. Because it's heavy, right? And it's hard to navigate this world carrying so much and feeling like I don't have anybody to turn to figure this stuff out. Some people are like, God, who's that? I don't know who he is, because my own father, blah, 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 blah. So you mean to tell me that there's a man in heaven that's seen all the things that I've done and have seen all the things that I've experienced and he didn't help me out? No. Right. So they're not going to church. They're not going to therapy. So what else is left? The sexing and the drinking and the smoking and the shooting up and all this other stuff, the gang banging and all these other things, because they're like, I got to do something.
Yeah, I need to outlet. I need to let go of this frustration somewhere.
Yeah. Yes, sure. Seeking support and sharing experiences, absolutely. And one thing I love about you, Cedric, is you were doing at the beginning of the live. Whenever I see you, you're always smiling. You got a big old cheesy, like, yes, brother. You have a smile, and nobody.
It's a wrap. Once I get this straightened, it's over.
Facts, because I got anyway.
All right, we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. Don't worry about it.
But it's like, you wouldn't know that behind all that lovely smile is that kind of story.
Yes. Exactly.
And this is why I tell people, if you're going to strive for something, strive for joy. Happiness, it's contingent upon your situation. Joy says, I'm going to find some reason to be okay in the midst of a storm, in the midst of my valley moments, even on the mountaintop. Like, I gotta find a reason. I gotta find something that's gonna be my lifeline, something that's gonna keep that machine going. Because
absolutely,
unfortunately, most of our Black men are on life support.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they are walking,
they're talking. They're on edge.
Yeah, but on life support.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't take much, unfortunately, for some men to be like, that's it, I'm done. Like, y'all expected me to show up. I showed up. Y'all dogged me. Like, what? Like, me and my best friend were talking about that the other day, about like men showing up. It doesn't come with a, oh my God, hi, I'm so glad you're here. It's a, what'd you do?
Thank you.
Yeah, I see that you cleaned that bathroom, but what happened to your clothes over there? And it's like,
it's always hold on.
Yeah. Always something. And then you expect a guy to do guy things like show up, be present, don't fail, emote, but also don't hide emotions from me. But also I might come at you for emoting. And it's like, hold on. And it's like, I don't think we acknowledge the kind of conditions we put men through to say, like, no, I'm a safe space, but I'm a dog you though. And I'm gonna come at you and I'm gonna tell you what you ain't, and I'm gonna lay all your failures out in front of you. Mm-hmm. And I love you though. Like, you my minions. And it's like, good. Mm-hmm. Not at all.
Not at all.
Well, what is your lifeline, Cedric? What keeps them lines moving? What's your lifeline?
That's tough too. My daughter, for number one, my daughter keeps me going every day. And just the fact that as long as I wake up every day, I always say this quote: any day above ground is a good one. So any day I wake up, it's always a good day. I don't care what's ahead of me, what's going to transpire. As long as I'm up today, I'm going to live my best life. I'm going to smile every chance that I get, as long as I'm able to, as long as I'm mobile, as long as I have vision, as long as I'm, in good health and everybody's in good health. That's what keeps me going every day. You know what I mean? That's what keeps the smile on my face. The fact that I'm able to see today, the fact that I'm able to see my daughter, the fact that I'm able to speak to who I can speak to, who's also in good health and carrying, good energy and spirits with them. So that's what keeps me going for sure.
I love that. So my cousin is on Instagram, and unfortunately it's not letting me pop it up on the screen, but she said not everyone has the skills because they were not taught. We got to meet everyone where they are. Mm-hmm. It's hard, and I get it. We don't know how to show up for people because, quite frankly, we haven't showed up for ourselves. So I totally understand that part. I think what 2020 has taught us is we all might be out here struggling. We all don't have it together as much as we hope that we do, but we don't. And it's like, how do you develop the language? Now, sure, there's TikTok and there's Instagram, and you can watch a reel that gives you a whole lot of information.
Right.
But to embody that thing is a whole different story.
Yeah.
To know, like, I know how to do it because I'm trained to do it. But my hope is that I can teach other women and other men how to show up for people. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because everyone gets a little nervous, like, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. It's like, how about you just show up and listen?
That's it. That's literally it.
Ask them what they want or need. Like, it's not, I mean, in essence, I'm like, y'all, it's I think we overcomplicate things.
Yes.
As a clinician, they're like, so Jermaine, how do you do it? It's like, I listen and I ask questions. Mm-hmm. I don't just assume, oh, you need a hug because you're struggling. Some people, again, because of trauma, don't touch me when I'm in a moment. Do not. And your words, I don't need them. Sometimes just showing up and being present and letting that person know, like, listen, right here, you're safe. Mm-hmm. Right here, I see you. Right here, I embrace you.
Yep.
For a lot of people, that is the world because they don't have it.
Absolutely.
Right? Absolutely. Hearing you talk about your story had someone just shown up and been like, yo, Cedric, I see you and you're okay and you're safe here.
Yes.
For you, that probably would have meant the absolute world for you.
The world.
But we don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
As family members, as loved ones, as friends, it's like, how do I do this? How do I show it? How do I show someone I love them? It's like, I mean, I think people are a little have a monicum of self-awareness that says to show up for me means, I don't know, give me a shoulder massage because I'm tense up here.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a hug, or just simply be there.
That's it.
You know, another comment on Instagram from someone who is going to be on episode 2.
Ooh.
I'll share that at the end. She says, how do you balance meeting people where they are at skills-wise and maintaining strong boundaries to relationships in close, intimate proximity? So
as far as what? Friendships, relationships? And you meet somebody with the same skills as far as what?
So I don't know. I think that was to me as a person who has an understanding. So how do you balance meeting people where they are? I say it like this. If someone is in the mud and they're struggling, you have 2 choices. You either are standing on the side and trying to reel something to them and pull them in, or you get in the mud with them, right? A lot of people are not willing to get their hands dirty. A lot of people like, I see you, but I just got my nails done and I can't do it.
Yeah.
I don't see anything wrong with sitting with someone and being like, where are you at? What is it that's burdening your mind? Without any judgment, without any assumptions. I am just here to listen to you and hear how you are experiencing it, right? There's that meme. I don't know if you guys seen it, but 2 people are standing on one side of a 6 and they're arguing. This is a 9. No, it's a 6. No, it's a 9. It's like perspective, people. It matters. Join them where they are and sit with them in that moment and hear how they are experiencing it. I experience grief very differently from the next person. I experience anger very different from the next person. So I can't judge your anger off of what I understand anger to be.
Yes.
That means I'm not joining you where you are. I have to be like, so Cedric, when you're angry, I heard that you punch a wall. I can't be like, that's stupid. Why are you going to punch a wall? The wall wins every time. Instead, you can be like, well, actually, if you ask me, it's because I need something else to punch, because if I don't punch the wall, it's going to be somebody's face.
Hello.
And if it's somebody's face, then I'm going to jail.
Hello.
So sure, the wall might win. However, it's better than a face, right? So showing up for people skills-wise is understanding the world from their eyes. Empathy, as we like to say, non-judgmental space.
Absolutely.
Boundaries. We love a good boundary. Are you good with boundaries, brother? Because I'm not. I'm working on it.
Am I good with boundaries? I'm working on it. I'm not the best at setting boundaries. I can be passive aggressive when it comes to that, like saying it without saying it, like going ghost on the phone for days or not responding to texts when I'm supposed to, or things of that nature. So I got to do a better job of being straightforward with it. But I'm like the kind of person at the same time where I'm afraid how I'm going to say it. So that's why I hold back a lot, because this is like a sword here. And once I let out what I really want to say, it's going for the jugular. And I don't want to, I'm trying to find different alternatives of ways to express that, but I can do a better job. I'm still
yeah, we siblings for sure. I'll be the same way. Now listen, the Lord has done a work on me. You hear me? Back in the day, I'm like, I ain't gotta punch you, I ain't gotta touch you. I'm going to hurt you, slice and dice you. Like my name was Michael Myers. Just by words. It's that simple. And yeah, I'm passive aggressive too.
Yep.
I'm a recovering passive aggression person. I still do it sometimes. But I agree. I think it's hard to be confrontational without being confrontational. You know what I mean? And
Right.
that's hard.
Yeah.
But something that I've learned about boundaries, and I've said this in other pods that I've done, boundaries are about where you end and where somebody begins, right? Boundaries are how I show the world, this is how I love myself. I can't let just anybody have unlimited access to me because I don't know you and I know me. My heart might be sensitive. My mind might be troubled. My soul may be unease, and everybody can't see that, right? Boundaries are necessary because people overstep often, and people think because of title, because of position, because of blood that they can just be in your business. It's like, hold on. No. Because sometimes, as we find out, it be the family that does it the worst. I don't care what DNA we got in common. If you're not healthy for me, you're not healthy for me.
At all.
If you're not showing me that you're trying to get better and have a better relationship,
Good riddance. Good riddance.
I don't know what to tell you, because we can't allow ourselves to continue to be open to pain and hurt and disappointment.
Yes.
Just for the sake of relationship. Like, no, it's not a relationship. It is very much one-sided.
Absolutely.
And I can't do one-sided things. I don't know about you, bro, but I can't. These one-sided relationships is just like,
That's what happens. Ain't no one-sided nothing. I'll show you one-sided.
One-sided them scissors.
Absolutely.
I love that. So as we continue in this, we're almost done.
Oh, already?
Again, like I said, you can come back for round 2 if you want to talk about something else. It's up to you. Sure. We didn't quite touch upon the inimitable part. So here we go. Inimitable, as I said in the opening, I would say the opening credits, the intro video, inimitable is something that is so unique, it is impossible to duplicate, right? Now, again, I can brag, you're my brother. My brother's dope. If y'all seen his page and his swag is on point. Like, I feel like I'd be cute sometimes, and I look at him and I'm like,
Oh, stop. We all fly over here.
I ain't quite there yet. But I believe the uniqueness that is Cedric is something that is so beautiful, is so hidden, because, you know, a lot of people don't know your story. So a lot of people won't take the time. Stop. Did you ever feel like you were a black sheep? Did you ever feel like there's just no room for you and you were like, I don't know where my place is?
For sure. For sure. I can't tell you like any specifics, but I definitely feel like whenever I walk into anywhere, it's just like the side eye, like, oh, him, like as if I was like a badass child or something, like, okay, I'll take it, but I'm not sure why I'm being looked at at that way, or I'm being side-eyed, or as if I'm somebody to be ashamed of. But it is what it is. I fully embrace it now. Like, I'll be the black sheep, I'll be anybody's villain, so be it. As long as I'm comfortable with me and everybody else around me is okay and in good health and taken care of, I'll take it.
Yeah. Don't mess with my brother, y'all. I don't fight. But anyway, you had said something about how you have learned to love and embrace yourself. How'd you get there? Because again, people with past and histories like yours, they're like, I hate myself. I ain't doing this no more. How'd you do it? How'd you get there?
I don't know. I don't know. When I tell you, I spent the longest time not valuing life. Again, as I told you earlier, I am my worst critic, so I talk myself out of a lot of opportunities, feeling like I'm not worthy or good enough of a specific job or a specific anything, occupation or anything of that nature. I always felt like I wasn't good enough, so I'd always talk myself out of it. Like, why would you? So the conversation I would have with myself is, why do you think you'd be qualified for that? Or what about you think that you can conquer that or be successful at whatever it is that you're going for?
Yeah.
And then I would go back and forth with myself, like, oh yeah, you're probably right. I don't think I'm valuable enough for that. I'm sitting here not making enough money for myself. You know what I mean? I'm going broke every week, living check to check. All these conversations going on in my head is just like I'm not worthy of anything pretty much. The only thing I can hang my hat on is having this little girl right here. And at some points I don't even think I was even good enough for that. I don't think I was doing a good enough job at fatherhood. There was certain moments where it's like, am I doing this parenting thing correctly? Like, you know what I mean? Like, am I doing everything it is necessary for me to fulfill whatever it is that needs to be fulfilled? All these questions going on in my head. And it's been going on for the longest, even up until I'll say probably like last year, maybe 2 years ago, where I started to like speak highly of myself and speaking love into myself. Like, it's okay to not be okay. Like, it's okay to have a down week, or even if it's like a down day, or even if it's 2 weeks, a month, it's okay to feel that. So it took me a very long while to love of myself and speak highly of myself and speak love into myself and really just love myself. It took me a long, 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 long while.
Mm. How old are you?
I'm
30?
33.
30.
33. 33.
My baby brother's not a baby no more. Anyway,
Yeah, this of, again, I had a lot of. I'm not sure if you remember. There was a specific moment in time where I was hitting the DM asking for $20, $25 every other week. And I'm like, I know she's tired of me, but I'm so like that. I'll go back to that time. I was unemployed at the time. I'm not sure. I think I was staying on somebody's couch at the time.
mm,
I'm not sure, but I wasn't working. I was unemployment. The unemployment check was probably like $200 at that. And then mind you, I'm like trying to take care of my daughter and then trying to take care of like regular bills with my little $200. So when's that gone? It's like I'm left for dead. It's like, okay, go to the store and steal your food or try to ask somebody. I couldn't go to my mother. I couldn't go to the other individual, as you know. There's always so many directions. I'm asking the mother of my child. She can only do so much because she's the primary caretaker. She got her own things to take care of. She's like, yeah, I don't mind helping, but I kind of like got to do what I need to do on this side too. Respectful, absolutely respect it. But it's like when you have nowhere to turn, it's like, what other options do I have? So I'm trying to. I reached out to you. I reached out to Monique. Like, hey, I'm going through a little dilemma right now. May I have $20, $25 just to hold me off for the week? And it's just going strictly for food. And even if I didn't eat, it was going to the little girl here. So it's just that moment of time was just a lot. It was just a lot. And even at that point, I didn't value life. Even that, like that moment of time, I even thought about suicide. Lots of suicide thoughts was going through my brain over the past couple of years. And that goes back to saying like when I didn't value life, talking down on myself, not speaking highly of myself, all that was like conjoined into like one moment. And it was just like, where do I go from here? So it took a lot of unwrapping, undoing, a lot of bad habits had to be put on the back burner for me to come around for myself. And that took a lot. That took a long, long time to get there. But yeah.
and then he ends with a smile on his face. But,
Mhm.
brother, listen. And I told him, I was like, you can have this money, but what we not gonna do is pretend like I'm an ATM. Like,
Right.
you
Now,
call
sure.
me in between
Yeah,
these
now, sure.
$25.
And I couldn't do nothing but respect it. It was like I'm asking my sister that I don't even see on a regular basis for money. She's about to cuss me out. Like, sis, I swear this is the last time, sis. I swear.
It's cool. It's cool. And like, I think the reason why I show up for people in the ways that I do is twofold, right? I believe if I have it and God bless me with it, He's going to continue to bless me with it. So I can't be selfish with the stuff, right?
Hmm.
And then secondly, I haven't been in those specific shoes, but I remember days where I'm like, I need somebody. I need somebody to just call me and be like, Jermaine, I see you. Because when you show up for other people, people don't be like, Jermaine, what do you need? Like, I didn't even ask. Like, I asked you to bring me and my whole family to the store and then to drop this one off and drop that one off. But I never asked you if you needed something other than gas. And even if you gave me gas money, it probably was like $10, right? And I remember those days where I'm just like, I don't want to keep eating noodles and ham sandwiches. Like, I want this. And I remember those times in my head. And I'm like, if anybody ever needs something, whether it's my time, whether it's my energy, whether it's my counseling services, whether it's whatever, I'm going to show up.
For sure.
Because too many people are giving up on life because they're like, I can't do this. I've been struggling. I've been fighting. I fight against my mind. I fight against the people around me. I fight against work stuff. I'm constantly fighting. Yep. And people who are constantly fighting eventually get exhausted.
Yep.
And it's hard for anybody, but especially a Black man, to be like, y'all, let it be one more thing and I'm gone.
Seriously.
Like, let another thing happen. Let another failure be thrown in my face. Let another moment where I'm looking at the bank account and the bank account's looking at me and I was like, there ain't enough in there. And people are done.
Yes.
And it's like, it's so hard to say that. And so, regardless, I don't really ask, you know what I'm saying? Like, when you were asking me, I was like, I don't care what he's using it for. He can be using it to get another thing of weed. It don't matter. You know what I mean? But if my brother needs it, my brother's going to get it. Because in my mind, I haven't been able to show up for you the first half of your life because, again, didn't really know you existed. And then when you did, it was like, where he at? I don't know.
Right.
But anything I can do, yes. And I feel like a lot of people need to consider that. Everyone doesn't have it. Everyone isn't, regardless of the smiles you see, and regardless of how much high they're holding their head, that you don't know what happens when they go behind closed doors. When they're in the bathroom for 45 minutes with the shower running because I need to cry and I'm a man, so people can't know that I'm doing it. Or I go to my car, go for a drive because I need the wind to slap me in my face to prevent me from, like, there's so many broken men out here. And this Black boy joy that they're trying to achieve is not there. And it takes conversations like this, and it takes people to be like, yo, I see you. I don't care if you have money. I don't care what kind of car you drive. I don't care if you're living in your mother's basement or you got your own penthouse. Like, I don't care.
Right.
Because you, man, Black man, you matter. Yes, you've made mistakes. We all do. Who is living that hasn't made a few mistakes? I literally just told my 17-year-old client that, like, right before we got on, like, girl, we all make mistakes.
Yeah. And it's going to continue to happen. It's life. You're supposed to make mistakes.
Yeah. But how you respond and bounce back, that's on you.
Exactly.
Brother, we need to continue to do this because you're great. If you have any questions, pop them up. No. If you have any questions for him, you have any questions for me, pop them in the comments real quick as I do my closeout. So, like I said, this is just episode 1, and I hope y'all enjoyed it. Look at that smile. Me and my brother, Cedric, I hope you guys learned from him. I learned from him. I was fighting back the tears because I was like, I need to hug my brother. So I'm going to find you. I'm going to give you a big old hug. Black Boy Joy was the title of this episode. Next week, I have my coworker. I love her. Love her, love her, love her. Her name is Julie Vasquez. I know her as Vasquez. But nonetheless, she will be on. She is a licensed social worker. She's doing a whole lot of amazing things, and she's going to be on next week. I'm so excited that I was able to open this with my brother. Brother, if there was anything that you wanted to leave with the people, any encouraging words, any final sayings, what would you tell the people?
Listen, if nobody told you today or this week I love you. You are enough. You're an inspiration to somebody. It's not always how you start your day, but how you end them. End the day above ground is a good one. And y'all be cool out there. And sis, you're just a beacon of light. Continue to use your voice. It's gonna travel from here to the other side of the universe. I'm sure a lot of people are gonna use your services. Yeah, this is just great for you. I appreciate you having me on. This was great. This is excellent. And we for sure are gonna do this again in due time.
What we're not gonna do is make me cry in this last 2 seconds. Thank you, brother. You two are a beacon of light because again, that smile, it hasn't lost its shine regardless of all the things that you've gone through. So, brother, I love you. I appreciate you. You know you have a safe space here, no matter the time, no matter the amount. Maybe the amount might matter now because
I gotta pay it back now. I gotta pay it back.
Absolutely not. Doing this, you just paid everything back. You're cool. It's great. Thank you for coming on, brother. You're amazing. You guys, I hope you enjoyed this. Share this with people who you feel like need to see it. Write comments, message me, message Cedric, slide in his DMs if you need to. But ladies, don't do too much now because that is my baby brother and I don't play by mine.
Take it easy. Take it easy.
Oh, thank you, Darren. Yes, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, but that is for counseling. I am also a mentor. So if you need some mentoring, if you young people need mentoring, let me know. I do groups, church groups. I do it all. You know?
Girl, anyway. Come on now. Sis of all trades. Get with it.
I be trying.
I better take care of my sis too, because I'm going to become for you, heard?
All right, guys. I hope you guys have a blessed week. Catch us next week, 7 p.m., same time, same channel, same face. All right, guys. Bye.